have I got a cracker for you. 3 ways to stop hooking the golf ball. And these are the most simple ways any golfer can do. Now, hooking the golf ball for some people might be the absolute dream because we worry about that slice. But I promise you this, if you're hooking the golf ball, there's nothing more frustrating than it going low, left, early, bye-bye, wounded pigeon, gone. Horrible, horrible, horrible. So let's just go into the fact of how you actually hit that hook. And actually, I've got to share something with you. I actually went to Carden Park on Sunday, Monday and played with a few friends. I'm going to show you what one of our friends did as the itinerary. It was the ultimate golfing, well, I don't know, I guess nerd package. Well, yeah, have a look at it in a second, I'll show you that. So how is a hook caused? So I've got my yellow alignment stick here on the floor. That is going to be our ball to target line. A hook is caused when we get a path that travels excessively to the right of target and a face that points left of our path and very much left excessively of our ball to target line. That is what a hook would be. One that starts way right at target and finishes way left. Now, for some players, it could also be a pull hook, which is really bad for their game. A swing which works very much over the top, so travelling left, and a face which is very much pointing left of their path and left of their ball to target line. But you see the things that are common in this. The club face is very, very closed. So we've got to think of how do we create the opposite impact factors in order to stop slicing the golf ball. 3 absolute cracking ways in not sure which you can do this. Number 1 is this. Number 1 is understanding what is actually happening. So we know our club face is pointing left. We've either got an excessively right path, which would be our snap hook, and those pull hooks are caused when that club face is left of our out to in path. So our first port of call is to go, right, okay, how can we understand what is for us? So what I want you to do is, I want you to place an alignment stick down in front of you, and I want you just to either get your friend, your golf mate, whoever it is, just to stand behind you and decide whether that ball is starting right of your ball to target line and hooking excessively left, or starting left and hooking excessively left from there, because they would alter what we were doing. So in terms of if your ball was starting to the right, we would encourage you to not have the club face as left and not swing as right. If we're swinging to the left as much, a good way of thinking about this is actually just to feel as though the face is a little bit open. So we're going to go down the route of if you're hitting that snap hook with that excessively into out path and that face that is pointing to the left. Our first way of actually getting rid of this is 1, take out this drill, and number 2 is what we're going to talk about right now, is learn to do the opposite. So we've already set this up. We've already got the alignment stick. We've already got the alignment stick in the ground here. So what I want you to do and feel this is our drill for number 2 if you're hitting those snap hooks is aim down that left, feel as though the shoulders and the feet are open, and actually stand here trying to create the complete opposites. Even throwing a helicopter follow through. Make it feel ridiculous. Learn and understand how do you get that club face open relative to the path and not have a path that travels too much to the right, because they're the impact factors which hooks it. I got a great one here. I've actually been told this story so many times. Lee Trevino, one week if he's hooking it too much, he'd stand on the range and try and slice it. If he was slicing it too much the previous week, he'd stand there and try and hook it. So number 2 in our list is, like I just said, if you're someone hooking it, so into out excessively, left face, left of your path and your club ball to target line, I want you to stand there and just feel as though you hit those big slices, and a lot of you will find that just neutrals you out. Okay, the final one, this is my absolute favourite and something we can take to the golf course. So we're going to assume that we know that if we're hooking the golf ball, we've got to swing a little bit more towards target and not as much to the right. So not as much of a swing that works under plane, but one that feels a little bit more in front of us. That's really going to help us. And my final tip for you is something that I want you to take to the golf course. It might sound ridiculous this, but try it. Pinch it in these top 2 fingers just that little bit more. It'll really help you feel as though the club face holds itself open as opposed to really releasing over. So key points, so point number 3 here are trying to feel as though the swing is not as much underplayed, but one that feels like the club feels more in front of us, and pinch it in your last 2 fingers. It'll really give you a great understanding of how you control that face, not as much pointing to the left, and hopefully a little bit more neutral. So here's my go. I would swing up, pinch it in those last 2 fingers, just make a few practice swings of this club being more in front of us, not as much underneath. We're in a great place now to not feel as though we're going to hit it left and lose that ball, especially in this cabbage here. Look how thick that is. I mean, you may play at a golf course as well, which is very much like that. So there you go, 3 simple ways, and you can understand how to stop hooking the golf ball. Number 1, set up the drill. Alignment stick down, alignment stick in the ground. Decide if you're pull hooking or hooking. Then we want to feel as though, okay, are we hooking of the golf ball? We need to not have our path as much to the right and our face as much to the left. Route number 1, try and slice it. Try and absolutely slice the beans off it. Number 2, pinch it in those little 2 fingers. Now, I just want to leave you with something here. If you're someone who's hitting those pull hooks, so that over the top with a closed face, we have to go down a slightly different route. We could go one of 2 ways. We could try and hit those little fades, so again, pinching it in those fingers could be a great way for you, but also I would be looking at, right, okay, if we're hitting those pull hooks and smothering it in this direction, can we feel as though we start working the club a little bit more into out? And it's a little bit more of a unique process there that is going down. We'll do that in a future lesson. If you want me to cover the pull hook in a future lesson, please do hit that thumbs up button. But there's 3 ways to stop hooking the golf ball. So I think this is a great comment to bring up. Joe Wills said, Alex, early extending is a horrible feeling for me, starting to really mush up my head. Well, let's just talk about this, because a lot of the time actually good golfers do this really. We stand up a little bit and we get a little bit stuck inside, and then we start to rip this club over and we hit that horrible little snap hook as a result of it. So it ties in nicely, this comment, so stick around for this of a little tip to stop early extending. So move to the side of my golf bag here. Golf bag just outside of reach of your left pocket. Make some practice swings where you feel as though you reach to get your left bum pushing your bag over. Push your bag over as a result of not standing up. And I can assure you, if you move the body better, you'll actually stop hooking the golf ball, you'll stop missing the balls to the right, and you'll have much better control of your club face. Moving the body better is so overlooked. So it's a really nice drill for you to try. So there you go, 3 ways to stop hooking the golf ball. Thank you so much for joining me today. I told you there's one thing I needed to show you. So I'm going to pull it up on the side of the screen here. Just look at this. Put down below if you go on golfing trips and you have something like this. This is our itinerary. This is what we need to take on our list. Comment down below if you have something like this. Thank you so much for joining me. See you tomorrow.